How's everybody doing out there today? Edge of Eternities is coming soon. Let's check it out a little bit. All right, so I think the pre-release is this week. So by the time this airs, I'm assuming pre-release will be over. I plan on going to it this weekend. I'm not really excited about too much about this set. I think there's some cards in there that might be cool, that might help out some of my decks, but for the most part, I just want to support the local game store, and actually I'll probably open up some of the packs with you guys. And if you haven't been here before, this is Binder Brews, I think is the name I wanted to use for this channel, because basically I have lots of cards that I have just in binders and in boxes, and I need to start using them. I feel bad that less than 10% of my cards get used in decks. So I just want to kind of go through, and even if it's tier 1, tier 2 decks that we create, I just want to create some decks that I can get these cards out of my binders and I can play with them and I can use them. I had about 4,000 cards I took down to the local card shop, and they put it on some sort of a robot, and they, I don't know, did their thing. 4,000 cards cost me $40, whatever. It was like a penny a card or something. And then I only get $60. So I don't know that it's really worth doing that. Granted, it was just a bunch of bulk, and I think a lot of people probably just throw their bulk away. But if there's cards that we can use out of the binders, and we can start brewing some decks together, hanging out, talking. Actually just released a video on Final Fantasy. I cracked a pack, opened up a couple legendaries in there, and we went through the binders and made a deck out of it. So if you want to watch that video, it's available also on this YouTube channel. So are you excited for Edge of Eternities? I do like space, right? And I've been watching some Star Trek lately. Trying to get into the new Star Trek, though. Not the old Star Trek, but the newer one that's on Paramount. I made it through about four episodes, and then I kind of lost interest, but I tried. So, Quantum Riddler. Creature enters, draw a card. If you have one or fewer cards in your hand, you can draw one more. So that's cool. I guess. I don't know. Maybe this will... I don't know. It just seems kind of underwhelming after Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy was so huge, and everybody was excited for it. I was not excited for the prices of it. I didn't even buy that much of it. I did get some singles for some stuff that I had. My son made a Cloud deck, and we already had an equipment deck, so it was easy. He just kind of swapped in Cloud, added some cards to it. It worked out pretty good, but yeah. We got the Sarima. The Sarima? I don't know. When the Sarima enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Well, it's not bad. Just tutor for 3, basically. Go get a legendary creature if you need it. You got Tezzeret if you're into artifacts. We got Shocklands. Yeah, I tried to listen to the story on this. I actually listened to the story about Sammy and this, I don't know, there was this, he's chasing his cat, basically, I guess, across the universe, and I don't want to spoil it for you. And there's this artifact thing and whatever, and I guess it was fine. I had a hard time following it the way that they wrote it with the logs, and like it kind of was a little Captain Kirky, like stardate log, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sure the writing is good. I'm probably just ignorant. And I'm okay with being ignorant. That's fine. Yeah, previews, June 20th. July 7th debuts, July 8th. So there you go. That's your little Edge of Eternity stuff. I don't know. We can go through all the cards on that. I was actually curious about something else, if they had any in stock. What about something that's available now? I was able to pick up just a little bit of the Secret Lair from Final Fantasy. I actually got it in Japanese, and I kind of forgot about Sonic. Oh no, Friends and Foes is still in. I don't really usually get the foil ones just because I don't know if they're going to curl or not. But there are these. Let's take a look at these and see what we got. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Whenever Sonic the Hedgehog attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with Flash or Haste. Cool. Whenever a creature you control with Flash or Haste deals damage, create a tapped treasure token. So it's kind of a bummer that it's tapped, right? Because if it wasn't untapped, then you could use it. And I guess in this, the rings are kind of like his treasure tokens, I suppose. Makes sense. I don't know. Not really interested in that one too much. I'm not really into vehicles. Whenever a vehicle you control enters, draw a card. If it has flying, otherwise put a flying counter on it. So at least your vehicles can have flying, a little evasion. That's pretty good. And it makes sense. He's got his little tail. Dr. Eggman. Flying at the beginning of your end step. Draw a card. Then each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. This sounds like a pretty fun commander, giving players options. I have a Tiny Bones deck that I really, really like, so maybe not having Tiny Bones as a commander and putting him as a commander would open up more colors, and you could have some discard stuff in there. I kind of do like cards that starve my opponents of their resources. I guess that's salty, but it is kind of fun sometimes. Atali's a great commander. I love Atali. I don't have it CEDH set up, but it's still definitely like tier 4 because it's going to steal your stuff and not apologize for it, and it's going to take it and put it on my side. Tiny Bones is a little different because Tiny Bones, you discard it, I can play it later, and what happens is I normally have this board of things that I don't really want to play, and then basically just try to starve them out. So it's kind of a long, there's really no great win con in that deck that I should probably put some combos in or something to maybe give it a little more win cons. But Dr. Eggman's cool. Discards a card, or you can put a construct, robot, or vehicle card from your hand on the battlefield. So it doesn't even, I mean, it could be, that could be really good. A vehicle card or robot or a construct. So that's cool. All right, what else do we got in here? Got Amy Rose. Basically, we've already done a bunch of stuff with equipment, so if you think you need a different equipment commander, then there you go. I do like Knuckles, because at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 30 or more artifacts, you get to win the game. So you could put in like Zorn and Academy Manufacturer and Professional Facebreaker and the other thing that makes treasures when you attack, or anything that makes treasures. Maybe double your treasures. I do like that card. That card's pretty cool. And then we have one more. Super State. Enchant creature you control. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 9/9, has flying, first strike, trample, and haste. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. It basically just goes into an equipment deck, right? Like that way if you ping somebody, you can ping everybody. I don't know. I didn't buy this. I thought about it. I've actually bought a lot of them. I have, let's see, which secret layers have I bought recently? I bought Ghostbusters. I bought I don't know if it's Horrors Across the Universe or something like that. I had some horror ones. I bought the Got Milk series. I got both of those, which is pretty cool. I thought about making like a Saturday morning cartoon deck. Actually, here, let me see. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for Rainbow Dash. So now, I know that Rainbow Dash technically is a silver border. I get that, right? He or she, I don't know if Rainbow Dash is a boy or a girl. And so, but I like it for a commander because it has Wooburg, which allows me to put all of my silly cards into one deck. I don't have SpongeBob, but SpongeBob would be another one you could run as a commander where you could just put all of your silly cards in one deck. It's just a big soup of, basically, for me, it would be Saturday morning cartoons. I grew up in the 80s, and if they had G.I. Joe, I'd put G.I. Joe in there, but I've got Transformer cards, I've got Jurassic Park cards, I've got Ghostbuster cards. Does the deck synergize very well? No. But it is fun. This is my thought too here. Look at the price on this, $34.99 or $54.99 for the foil, right? So when you're looking at maybe these as far as secret layers, right? Like, I am sure that Knuckles is like $30, right? I don't even know what Sonic goes for. So you can't really go wrong if there's one card that you really want out of a secret layer, I think. And then you can just hang on the secret layer, sell the cards individually if you want to. Probably you could take them to your local game store and get 30% value for them if you wanted. But, you know, just kind of how it is. So, yeah, not a bad deal. So, Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is kind of an interesting game. For me, Magic the Gathering started in 2006, a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away when I was in the military. And I got hurt, unfortunately. And before that, I had played sports, and that was all I did is I skateboarded, and I surfed, and I played basketball, and I was just Mr. Like, this kind of stuff was for quote-unquote nerds, right? Like, it was not something in the 80s or 90s that the group of people that I hung out with did. Now, I had some friends, and they played Dungeons & Dragons, and they did that kind of stuff. I had an older brother that played Dungeons & Dragons. But really, Magic the Gathering, I don't know, it's just, it has a special place in my heart because it helped me through a time when things were tough. Like, I was on a couch for over a year and a half. I had surgeries. I was in and out of the hospital. I couldn't walk because I had casts on my feet. And so I would sit and I would read these cards over and over and over. And I had a friend named Mike. He was really cool, and he came to the house, and he would play Magic with me. He taught me how to play. I guess he was a scout leader, or I don't know. He did something with scouts, and Magic was scouts. He took me to my first F&M for, I think it was, what came after this? What came after Cold Snap? I can see the symbol. The symbol is like time. Oh, it's Time Spiral. Time Spiral, I think. Time Spiral came after this. Maybe not directly after, but I went to the Time Spiral one. I remember that, and that was a cool experience. I took a second. Never even played Magic before, but I happened to get some really good cards. Back then, we didn't really play Commander. It was just you make a deck out of, I think it was 40 cards or something like that, and then you play 20 life points, and you can have 4 copies of each. And that's how it worked. And this set, he played elves. I remember he played elves. He called it his Uber deck. And he played elves, and he had some other stuff in there. And he would beat me and beat me and beat me. And then I got this set, and I would use black and red. See if I can find him in there. I'd use Rite of Flame to get some mana going. Is there that dragon in here somewhere? Cold Still Heart. There it is. Rhyme-Scale Dragon. Rhyme-Scale Dragon. This was my dragon. I think I had one of them maybe or 2 of them in my deck. But flying, pay 2 and a snow permanent, so a snow land, and tap target creature and put an ice counter on it. And I used to use this against him with another card. It was a Shade. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Chilling Shade. And Chilling Shade basically just plays snow permanent, and he gets +1/+1, and he has flying. And so I remember he'd put his stuff into play. I'd pay, tap it down, fly over the top of him with Chilling Shade. There he is right there. It's my favorite card. Probably my favorite card of all of Magic, really. I mean, is it playable now? Absolutely not. Is it super dope for the time when I started playing Magic? Absolutely. Competed with 1 mana from a snow permanent. Rhymewood's necromancers caught travelers in the mystical blizzards, then trapped their spirits in the mist of the final frozen breaths. Yeah, so that was my deck back then, and it was super cool. And after I got out of the service, I put my Magic cards away for years and years and years. And then I had children, and those children grew up, and around 2018, my son found them and we started playing Magic again. And we got together. We went down to the local Magic shop and we bought some cards. I think there was a Kamigawa. Is that right? That's a Kamigawa set that came out back then. And my son was really into ninjas, and so we made him a ninja deck, and we learned about Commander, and we were trying to figure that out and how to make a Commander deck, and it seemed really weird to me. Had my first Commander deck, I think I just built it like a regular deck, and it didn't work out very well. But after time, we figured it out, and my daughter married a boy, and his family played Magic. So now we have plenty of Magic cards, and that's kind of the story of Magic for us as a family. And I don't know, I'm sure I'm not the only person where Magic has helped them through, I don't know, probably depression or just times of inadequacy or times of whatever. And one really cool thing, and I wish they would bring this back. When we got Cold Snap, I remember he bought me a bundle and it had 2 boxes. And one of the boxes had the cards and the other box had some dice and a book. And reading the book to kind of get the lore and then going through the cards and figuring out which creature is where. And I mean, I can't tell you now, but I remember at the time just trying to put all the pieces together. And I didn't know about Urza back then. I didn't know about the Saga and the Brothers' War. And I didn't know about any of that stuff. You know, I just kind of walked right in the middle, 10th edition, this. But it was cool. It was really, really cool. And it still is cool. So, yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. I'm going to change a little bit from here and there, but for the most part, it is the same. And so if we go back to Edge of Eternities, how many of you guys out there are excited to play it? How many of you are still trying to figure out which Final Fantasy commander that you want to build out of the gazillion legendary creatures that came out with it? So I did build a deck. I think I mentioned this earlier with Hope, right? So Hope, MTG, Final Fantasy. Let's see. Here we go. And when I built this, I tried not to look at EDHREC or anything like that when I build my decks. I'm trying to just build them with everything I can first, and then if I like the deck, then I can go ahead and maybe look through here, find some combos, add some more stuff to it, because I do not have the knowledge that there are many of you out there do on Magic the Gathering, right? Like I can go through and I can say, these are life gain cards, these are draw cards, these are counter spells, and I kind of know some of the top tier ones. I'm really good with pictures. I'm really bad with names. So I did open up a wind crystal, which was really cool. So I was able to add a wind crystal to it. Nope, I do want to get a Y'shtola though. I have a Soul Warden. I had a Will. I do want to pick up this card to add to it because I actually really enjoyed the deck. It was different. I mean, being able to gain life and mill out opponents. And I've never made a mill deck before. It turns out people don't like mill. They don't like losing their resources. I understand. But it's also kind of funny. Beacon of Immortality. Luckily, I had one of those. So that was cool because I had one from 10th edition back in the day. I found that in my binder. Cleric class. I was able to add Cleric class. I have Authority of the Councils. Alhammerit's Archive. I had one of those. So that's cool. And then I just did this one, Swords to Plowshares, because I have a creature in there that its power and toughness is equal to my life total, right? I can't remember her name. But if I exile that creature and then gain that much life and then cast Hope, then people are milling, right? We can get them to all mill like 40 cards or something. So that was pretty cool. I didn't do any propagandas. I don't have it. I don't have that card. I did put Aetherflux in there, but I didn't actually use it. So I played two or three rounds with it. The first round I played with the deck, I got mana starved and I couldn't really do anything. The second round, I was able to get some angels out, gaining some life, and every time I tried to get Hope out, obviously it's a kill on sight commander, And one of the players I was playing against has a sacrifice deck. And so he could just sacrifice a creature and force me to sacrifice something, or he would just... So I really had a hard time keeping stuff on the board. And I think I would have beat him. I always say this, but I had like 80 or 90 life. I was doing really good, and I was just waiting for my moment to mill him out, right? And then he was able to hit me with poison counters and then proliferate. So I died to poison counters. But for the most part, I think the deck worked out pretty well. I do want to get this Drog Skull Reaver. I actually think I used to have one, and then it was part of the stuff I got rid of. But it's only 90 cents. Like, it's not a big deal. So whenever you gain life, draw a card, because I have this shark that goes with it. It says whenever you draw a card, gain 1 life. And I think that would be like the combo-y I might put in there. Not a lot of game changers. I don't want to put a lot of game changers in it. I have a couple tutors. I think I have a Draenith in there, but I could take it out. So I don't need to double check and make sure. I don't have any of that stuff. I do have Felidar Sovereign, which I never drew, but it's a nice win con. I hear this is a good card, this Exemplar of Light. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on this creature, draw a card. So that might be something I might look at picking up for it. I have this card, I didn't put it in there. I do have Esper Sentinel in there, which I'm glad it's not a game changer. I mean, it probably should be a game changer, but I'm glad it's not. Mind Skinner, I have a Mind Skinner in there, and there was one time I attacked with the Angel, and her life, her power was to my life and toughness. No one took any damage, but everybody milled like 30 cards or 40 cards. That was totally cool. I think I have this card, but I don't have it in the deck. There it is. There's the shark. And this is why I can't remember Magic the Gathering card names. Shabraz, the Sky Shark. Shabraz. And with 6 sets coming out, every year? And each one has like 200-300 cards. I don't know. That's why it's kind of fun to just go through all your cards. And so anyways, there's a cool combo. He's $5, so I have the expensive half of it. I did put this Resplendent Angel in there. What else did I have in there? A Hedron Cab, I pulled it out. I don't have a Witch's Enchanter. I did have a Spark Double. I put Spark Double in there, and I also put the Mockingbird, so I could make a copy of just something. Laura, yep, I put Laura in there. I had one of those. So yeah, anyways, Windborn Muse, it's a good card. So if you want to watch that video, I'm not going to take all your time now, but if you want to watch that video, check it out. I'm sure you guys have all built life decks. Martyr of Sands is pretty good. I have that card. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now in Magic, and this is just kind of the first podcast / chill hangout, talk about Magic stuff. Obviously, I've been around for a while, so, I mean, we can talk whatever. Leave comments, stuff you want to talk about. I've got old vintage video games and toys and Transformers and whatever. I've just found that as I've gotten older, that kind of stuff, kind of a special place in my heart, right? Like, I worked cornfields and I had to work a lot when I was younger, and so I didn't get an opportunity we just didn't have the funds to have that kind of stuff. So now that I've gotten older, well, not now so much, but like 37, 38, I kind of went through a phase where I was basically the Sears catalog of 1985, 86, and all the stuff we used to look at and just drool over, right? The Transformers, the He-Man, the G.I. Joe. I mean, luckily I've been able to pick up some of that stuff before it got too crazy expensive. So in the comments below, talk about the decks that you're using. How would you build Hope? Have you built Hope? Would you build Hope? What is your favorite commander? My favorite commander right now is Glarb. So, yeah, I love Glarb. I don't know that I play Glarb like everybody else. Maybe I do. But I love commanders that are resource. They just give you resources, right? Like, they can be a win con like Hope, or you can look at the top card of your library and you can play lands off the top of your library. So then you can make it a landfall deck, or you could make it a Surveil and you could have Reanimate. And I just decided to kind of put it all together, right? So I have some nasty Reanimations. And then you just throw in your Scoot Swarms and your Crater Hoofs and your things that do that, right? And this is a very sick card coming from this new set. This Ice Till Explorer. It's like, let's just take a few cards and just staple them together. Right? So we have a Crucible of Worlds. And then we can also play an additional land on each of our turns. And why not? That whenever a land you control enters, I could mill a card. So I can fill up my graveyard. This is perfect for Glarb. I can fill up my graveyard. I can play lands from my graveyard. And I can play an additional energy card. So this is one of the cards that I'm really looking for getting. I don't normally like to mill. I like to surveil because I like to see what I'm putting in there. Because if I mill or reanimate or spell or something like that, then I usually I'm like, come on, dude. And then Culling Ritual. You can't go wrong with Culling Ritual. Exploration, of course, is in there. I don't have the Gitrog monster in mind. I do love Enhanced Surveillance. Azula Lost But Seeking. She's in there. I don't play Valley Fudcaller. I do play Dryad of Elysian Grove. I don't play Deadly Rollick. I play Reanimate. And then basically, I got the Horrors Across the Plains. And so there's one in there that like you can pay 2 life and surveil or something like that. And there's a couple other horrors. And it was it was kind of like, what was that? It was the set that had the big moth guy, Valgavoth, right? I don't remember the set's name. But Valgavoth, I have him in there. And so it was kind of around Halloween when I was putting it together. Deathrite's in there. And it was really cool. Like, it's just a fun deck. And I kind of did everything Reanimate at first. And then I ended up winning most of the time with Scoot Swarm and Crater Hoof. So I was like, well, let's kind of lean into the landfall a little bit, but still keep some of the dope monsters. So Conduit of Worlds, I got that in there. Nope. I had 6 in there for a while. I took it out. I don't know. Had Poison Dart Frog in there for a while. I might still have it. Eternal Witness is always good. I do have a Spore Frog. You know what? I also have a Loot deck. I don't know what your thoughts are on Loot. Loot is Loot the mascot? Is he the Mario? Is he the Mario of Magic the Gathering? I have Loot the Pathfinder. So I have Loot the Pathfinder. And I actually really, really like this deck. What is that card that you can... It's a blue card. You can pay 2 to blink him. Right? You know which one I'm talking about. I can't think of the name of it right now. He's sitting on a boat. You can see the picture of him. See, I'm good with pictures. I'm not good with words. I'm sure it'll have him in here. There he is. Deadeye Navigator. See? He's on a boat. And you can pay 2 and you can blink him. And so lots of fun different kind of win cons in here, right? So you could take some CEDH cards or some CEDH win cons, put him in the 99 so it's not as strong, you know. And then you can flicker him and you can get your mana. You could put in the Urza and then you blink it and then you put in... Raise the Alarm, I think is the name of it, right? Where when a creature comes into play, you untap all creatures. And then you can make infinite constructs. Or you can run Kinnan. And you can run the Hullbreaker horror stuff. And you can do all the Kinnan nastiness. So yeah, really, really fun deck. It's probably one of my favorite decks as well. But it's a pretty high-powered deck. So it's a combo. Yep, there's old Kinnan. Yep, you got Kinnan, Rhystic Study, Worldly Tutor, Seedborn Muse, the One Ring. So this is definitely, this is a tier 4 deck. I don't run Food Chain in it. I have Food Chain in my Atali deck. Is it Atali? The one that the red dinosaur that you can cast him and then everybody flips over cards until... They flip over a non-land card and you can cast it this turn. I'm pretty sure that's... Call him Big Chunky, right? That's closer to a level 4 deck as well. Yeah. There he is, Atali, Primal Conqueror. I have that separate as a separate deck. So I have that one with Squee and Food Chain. Yeah. This is I love Enduring Vitality. That is such a sick card. Imperial Recruiter, Dual Caster, yeah. So level 4, right? Or tier 4, I guess level 4, tier 4, whatever you want to call. Or almost CEDH, I guess. Probably not top tier CEDH. I think he just costs too much. I think if you're going to do that, just run Kinnan, right? So, yeah. So that's basic. Ooh, I need to get a Marvin. I don't have a Marvin yet. I need to get a Marvin. It's only $2. So, anyways, that's pretty much it, right? Like a little bit of the history of Magic, what it means to me, a little bit about the channel, some things we're going to do. Next week, I am going to go down to the pre-release. I'm going to get a pre-release kit. We're going to open it up on camera here in the studio, and we'll go through it. We'll see if we can find a commander in it or some legendary creature we can make a deck out of. Or if we can't, then at least we'll see what cards that we get that we can fit into some pre-existing decks and maybe go over some of that. I have not put my deck lists on Moxfield or Scryfall, so I probably should do that. So when we're talking about the decks, I can actually show you the cards that I have in my decks. So, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this first episode, kind of to get to know you, hang out. These are the vibes, right? Like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just here talking about Magic, talking about my decks. I'm always putting them together. I'm always thinking about Magic, and I am probably not the most highly... I don't know. I know some Magic cards, but I don't know all of them, right? And obviously, it's a very hard game to learn. So I'm sure when you look at my deck lists, they won't always be optimized. And one is I don't really want to spend a lot of money on Magic because it's getting so expensive, and I also just want to play those cards out of my deck. But there are decks that I do have that are optimized, right? Like if I'm going to put a VV deck together, I'd probably optimize it with the best cards that I have. Or if I'm going to put a Kinnan deck together, I'd probably optimize it. But most play groups don't want to play CEDH. They don't want to play level 4. So I'm learning how to like not be so competitive and try to make even hope might not be much fun for people. So I need to learn how to make decks that are, they have engines and they work well together, but it's not like bam, bam, haha, I win. So that's something I need to work on. So maybe we can find a commander that we can do something like that with. So anyways, thanks a lot for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one.